Hey boys and girls, we are going to read one of my favorite stories. I know I say that about lots of stories, but this really is one of my favorites. This is by Peggy Rathmann. The author and the illustrator are the same person. And she wrote the words and she did the pictures, and it's called Officer Buckle and Gloria. That is Officer Buckle and that is Gloria. This book actually won an award called the Caldecott for pictures, for really cool illustrations, and it's because Peggy Rathmann put a lot of work into this book. And each little star on the cover are different safety rules. And the stars in here are different safety rules. I'm not going to read all of them to you right now, but like this one says, never play in the microwave oven. Never tilt your chair back on two legs. Never play with matches. Never take other people's medicine. So it's very, very, very full of all kinds of good safety tips. She dedicated this book for Bimbo and Skippy and all the people that they loved. And for Crosby, who loves everybody, but especially Laura Jean. So that's the dedication that the author and the illustrator made for her book, Officer Buckle and Gloria. Officer Buckle knew more safety tips than anyone else in Natville. Every time he thought of a new one, he thumbtacked it to his bulletin board. Safety tip number 77. Never stand on a swivel chair. Why do you think it's not a good idea to stand on a swivel chair? You can fall, right? And look, there's all those thumbtacks. Officer Buckle shared his safety tips with the students at Natville School. Nobody ever listened. Sometimes there was snoring. They're not being very polite listeners, are they? But I guess they're kind of bored. Afterward, it was business as usual. Mrs. Topple, the principal, took down the welcome banner. Never stand on a swivel chair, said Officer Buckle. But Mrs. Topple didn't hear him. Look at all the accidents that are happening there at the school. Someone slipped on the water in the fountain. Someone's tripping over their shoelace because their shoes are untied. They're carrying too many books and it hit someone and they fell down the steps. There's so many things happening. Then, one day, Natville's police department bought a police dog named Gloria. When it was time for Officer Buckle to give the safety speech at the school, Gloria went along. Children, this is Gloria, announced Officer Buckle. Gloria obeys my commands. Gloria, sit. And Gloria sat. Officer Buckle gave safety tip number 1. Keep your shoelaces tied. The children sat up and stared. So they usually fall asleep. Why do you think they're standing up and listening now? Is it because Gloria is doing what Officer Buckle is doing? I don't know. But look, Officer Buckle checked to see if Gloria was sitting at attention. She was. Safety tip number 2, said Officer Buckle. Always wipe up spills before someone slips and falls. The children's eyes popped. Did Gloria act like she fell down? Officer Buckle checked on Gloria again. Good dog, he said. Officer Buckle thought of a safety tip he had discovered that morning. Never leave a thumbtack where you might sit on it. The audience roared. That means they laughed really hard. What do you think they're laughing at that safety tip? Officer Buckle grinned. He said the rest of the tips with plenty of expression. So instead of him saying, "Never leave a thumbtack where you can sit on it." He said, "Never leave a thumbtack where you might sit on it." So he's very animated. He's using lots of expression. The children clapped their hands and cheered. Some of them laughed until they cried. Officer Buckle was surprised. He had never noticed how funny safety tips could be. After this safety speech, there wasn't a single accident. The next day, an enormous envelope arrived at the police station. That means very, very big. It was stuffed with thank you letters from the students at Knappville School. Every letter had a drawing of Gloria on it. Officer Buckle thought the drawing showed a lot of imagination. Here's an example of one. "Dear Gloria and Officer Buckle, thanks for coming to our school. You are nice. Your friend George." His favorite letter was written on a star-shaped piece of paper. It said, "You and Gloria make a good team. Your friend Claire. P.S. I always wear a crash helmet. Safety tip number 7. So she drew a picture of herself, too. Officer Buckle was thumbtacking Claire's letter to his bulletin board when the phone started ringing. Grade schools, which are like elementary schools, high schools, and daycare centers were calling about the safety speech. "Officer Buckle," they said, "our students want to hear your safety tips. And please, bring along that police dog." And you can see where he hung his picture from Claire. Officer Buckle told his safety tips to 313 schools. Everywhere he went, children sat up and listened. After every speech, Officer Buckle took Gloria out for ice cream. Officer Buckle loved having a buddy. Look at what's funny about this picture. He's paying for ice cream. And what's Gloria doing? She's got a pencil or a pen. She's signing autographs for all the children. Then one day, a television news team videotaped Officer Buckle in the State College auditorium. When he finished safety tip number 99, "Do not go swimming during electrical storms," the students jumped to their feet and applauded. So they clapped and they cheered. "Bravo! Bravo!" they cheered. Officer Buckle bowed again and again. That night, Officer Buckle watched himself on the 10 o'clock news. There's a lot of things happening here. They're watching the news, and the illustrator did a great job. She drew a mirror, so you can see the back of Officer Buckle's head. So this is what he sees on TV. It's being reflected in the mirror. So he is seeing Gloria acting out his safety speech, which is not a bad thing. Everyone likes to see Gloria do that, right? But look at Gloria's face. It looks like she's pretty worried. And he was so surprised, he knocked some of his popcorn over. The next day, the principal of Knappville School telephoned the police station. "Good morning, Officer Buckle. It's time for our safety speech." Officer Buckle frowned. "I'm not giving any more speeches. Nobody looks at me anyway." "Oh," said Mrs. Topple. "Well, how about Gloria? Could she come?" And I don't know if you can see this upside down one, but it says number 100. This is safety tip number 100. Never turn your back on a strange dog. So he's really got his feelings hurt. He feels like Gloria was being sneaky. Someone else from the police station gave Gloria a ride to the school. Gloria sat on stage looking lonely. Then she fell asleep. So did the audience. So it seems like they need to have Officer Buckle and Gloria, doesn't it? After Gloria left, Natville School had its biggest accident ever. Uh-oh. It says banana pudding. It started with a puddle of banana pudding. Splat, splatter, sploosh! Everyone slid smack into Mrs. Topple, who screamed and let go of her hammer. And of course, where was Mrs. Topple? Never stand on a swivel chair. Uh-oh. You want to make a prediction about what might happen? There's a lot of kids there, and there's a hammer flying through the air. Not good. The next morning, a pile of letters arrived at the police station. Every letter had a drawing of the accident. Officer Buckle was shocked. At the bottom of the pile was a note written on a paper star. Officer Buckle smiled. The note said, "Gloria missed you yesterday. Your friend Claire. P.S. Don't worry, I was wearing my helmet. Safety tip number 7. So look, who did the hammer hit? Claire. But because she had her helmet on, it didn't even hurt her. Gloria gave Officer Buckle a big kiss on the nose. Officer Buckle gave Gloria a nice pat on the back. Then Officer Buckle thought of his best safety tip yet. Safety tip number 101. Always stick with your buddy. There's Claire in the corner, winking. And then at the very end, there are even more safety tips. And there they are, bowing. I hope you liked that story. I love that story.